All right, so here is a drone shot of the property. I'll make a note here. The property line is right in through this direction and kind of comes down and then back over this direction. There's a small little creek area that comes out, and then it also comes over approximately in this area and then back over and then back that way. This clearing over here to the right is the next tract over. This driveway is the 28-acre tract. And you can see, we'll get some closer up shots. There's a little bit of an opening here for a potential home site. Obviously, you could clear it out some more. It's pretty flat in this area, kind of going back this direction. Now, to the left of the road here, it starts sloping off pretty steep into kind of a bottom gully down here where some of the best timber is. And there's also a creek and a possible small pond that could be developed in there where some of the water is. But the property is not in a flood zone. And so this is on a kind of on a ridge here that the further you go out, the wider the ridge gets. And so it's a really interesting property. So as we kind of go through here, you can see the trail going along, and you can we'll get a close-up. You can see on the bottom left-hand corner here the water where there's a potential for like a pond or where the creeks come together and stuff. You can see the other road goes out this way, and National Forest is all out here to the right and above it here. So again, you've got the trails. Now you'll see this other trail. If I back up just a little bit here, there's a spot right here where another trail comes in and kind of goes this way. And if we look at the property, hang on one second, let me get that pulled up. Okay, as you can see, here's the survey. So here's where we started in at. Here's approximately facing this direction. Here's approximately where the clearing is. Little Creek is more in this direction. And then these trails that kind of come, and these are my lines, so they're not exact. And then it kind of goes out on this ridge up towards the National Forest here. So this is a big wide ridge up here. And then the gully area down in the hollow is down in through here where the water and the creek and all that is, and the deer like to feed and come up through here up onto the ridge and stuff like that, wildlife. And you'll see the part of where the trail forks here, part of it goes back towards the back of the property, and then one kind of comes down and comes over for a little bit before it hits the other property. All right, so if we go back to the video here, you'll see that here and maybe in another shot, an angle, you'll be able to see it more clearly, but there's a trail that kind of cuts back over here before it gets to that other track over here, the 11-acre track, which you can see the home site and entrance over here. So it kind of comes along closer off into this area. But then this portion of the trail and this portion that goes back this way would be part of the 28 acres. As you can see a little bit more clearly there, both of those forked trails, again, cutting off somewhere right in through here, and then all the property being back this way. Now, this area right here, when you're out there physically, it is a little scruffy because there's all these little bitty pines and stuff growing up around it, so it's hard to see and stuff. But this is actually a really nice, round, somewhat flat ridgetop right here, and then gently slopes back off towards the National Forest. Okay, and most of the better timber is once you get further off into the property or down towards the hollow and stuff like that. There's a good mix of hardwood and pine, and it's pretty good quality setup here. And so you can see, let's see if I can pause it. The property goes back all the way back over here where the National Forest runs along, kind of along the back edge there. Okay, and so for bearings. Yeah, so all of this behind it is National Forest, all along kind of this edge right here, okay? So all this would be part of the property, kind of going back towards, you can see, it may be difficult to see in the video, but like this whole area appears the round top of the ridge, and then this area is where more of the creek is and more where the property boundary is over this way, and then also along this side going back to the back of the property where the National Forest is back over here. So all of this right here is part of it. And then here's the trail coming in, about to turn back towards the road. So again, creek area is kind of coming back in here where that little pond area is. This is where that fork trail comes back together. Both of them kind of coming along here. You can also see the other tracks that kind of butt up to it. There's still a good amount of woods between them and this trail, and that's kind of thick right through there. So it's quite a bit of privacy coming in through here where the other tracks are all the way over there. And then the trail comes through really good. And then we're back over here where that, you see in the bottom right hand corner where that pond area is, and then the home site, which we'll have close-ups of those. So there you go. There's the potential home site and the property entrance right there. Okay, so this is a little closer up of that pond. Let me back it up here so you can see there's the kind of a creek that kind of comes down through here. This is kind of a wet area right here where all of the ridge kind of slopes down into the bottom. So this is where the water collects. It looks like, I haven't been down there to lay eyes on it personally, but I feel like you could develop this into a really nice pond down at the bottom. It has kind of the starts of it anyway, and it'd probably be fed by the creeks and stuff. That's kind of a little wet area that's developed down in the very bottom of that bottom there. And again, it's a pretty steep ridge coming up here, so this all would be very, very dry, not in a flood zone. All right, so this is just going to be a 360 here, so you can kind of see the lay of the land. There's lots of woods. There's some private property back that way, but most all of this, here's the road coming in towards the property in this way, but all of this out here is national forest. Thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of national forest out there all along these roads, and you can see it's just undeveloped for miles and miles. Just really private, exclusive type property. It's really, really pretty property actually once you get out into the national forest. It's a little grown up right now because it's in the middle of the summer, but in the winter, or if you clean up the property some, it's just going to be absolutely gorgeous. Out this direction again is the national forest. There's actually, I'm not sure if we can see it, off in the distance, there's some kind of decent sized lake or pond off in that direction. Again, this is some of the other tracks, and then the creek area would be below us here, and the home site would be down here to our left, and we're back towards the entrance of the property right here. So that was a quick 360 view from the sky, and just it's a really nice area for getting away and having a private location there. It's an overall really nice property. Okay, so here's a couple of pictures of kind of the entrance here. So this again is where my truck was parked. I actually trimmed some of those bushes off now, but this is where they cleared kind of an opening coming in to that potential home site. And then here's a little bit of the clearing so you can see that. So it slopes down just a little bit, but all this area is pretty flat, has a little bit of a grade going back towards the back this way. But if you clear out kind of coming back towards the road over here to the right, you can push all this back as much as you want and maybe underbrush it and stuff like that, start opening it up, cleaning it up, and it would just make a phenomenal home site. And here's the trail that goes past the home site, kind of going back into the woods. So it's a pretty good trail. It definitely is a good four-wheeler side-by-side trail, but it wouldn't be that much to open it up to where you could take like a truck or something back there. It's a pretty good trail, very well established. And then here's the still shot of the potential home site. Again, those pictures we saw was kind of coming in this direction and then like looking at it from this area. But again, you could come back this way and open it up quite a bit and have a really nice potential home site. Here's just another angle of it with a still shot. Again, coming in, you've got kind of a parking area or whatever here, and then you can continue opening this up for a potential home site. Here's another shot of the trail further down going off into the property. And here's a very large still shot of kind of the view out towards the national forest. Just a massive amount of land. And again, the property kind of comes along this area right here and then kind of back and then back over this way. And so it all comes out this way. And here's where that trail kind of dead ends right here. So just a beautiful piece of property, very secluded. Okay, here's a still shot of kind of that wet area. You can see where kind of the creek kind of meanders down through here through it. So I don't know if this is like a spring or if this is just where the water collects and stuff, because this was a very warm, dry day, and it had been dry for a week or two at least. So I don't think this is just rainwater runoff. So it has to be some kind of either spring or water collection or something down through here. So I feel like this could be potentially cleaned out in this bottom area and make a really nice pond, or even if you expanded it out, maybe even a lake or something. Here's another close-up shot of that. Again, you can kind of see the trickle kind of coming through, and then a collection right here. It's just asking to be made into a pond right there, I feel like.